Sexy women with knives, daggers and claws. Time for another chat about the Daemonettes of Slaanesh. Oosh! Oh, saved by Slaanesh. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, today I'm going to have another chat about the Daemonettes of Slaanesh for my Emperor's Children army. Before that though, if you would like to keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k, then please give me a sub and hit the bell button so you don't miss an upload. Okay, so my 36 Noise Marines are coming along quite nicely, and my next project is to complete my Daemonettes for the army. Now I've already built 20 of those, and in the last update I made for my Daemonettes we had a chat about the bases, what I was going to do with them, and I think I've come to some conclusion, so I want to discuss that in this video. I also want to discuss how I'm going to expand the Daemonettes and what I'm going to do with some old Daemonette models from Jess Goodwin that I have. But before we go table down, I just want to do a big shout out to a good buddy of mine, Dice Miniature Paint Guy. He's currently on around 900 subscribers, and I would absolutely love to try and get him up to 1,000 subscribers before the YouTube demonetization happens on the 20th of February. So I'm going to link you up to his channel just there, and I would really appreciate it if you went over to his channel, gave him a sub for me. He's a really nice guy, and I'd love to get him up to 1,000 subscribers before the cut-off date. Right, okay, so now we're going to go table down and have a look at my Daemonettes of Slaanesh. Okay, so here are my 20 Daemonettes. You've seen these before. They're currently blue tacked onto the bases. So let's talk about the bases first. So in the previous video I was umming and ahhing whether I should go for the 25mm bases, that's the ones they come with, or whether I should up that to the 32mm bases, like the Noise Marines are going to be based on. Now I have decided that I think I want to stick with 25mm bases. Now I had a lot of people vote for 25mm bases and a good amount for 32mm bases, and obviously it's subjective. But I just think visually the models are a lot skinnier and thinner, and I think they work better on the smaller bases. I think they look better in the army, and I think they make the Noise Marines look a little bit more imposing as well. I actually like the fact that the Daemonettes can now bunch together quite closely with the smaller bases, and I think visually they look a lot better when they're clumped together on those smaller bases. They look really scary. So I'm going to stick to the smaller bases. Now that in turn gave me another issue, and that is that my base theme for these Noise Marines, for the army, is these rocks and this sort of gooey, rivery stuff with the tentacles coming out of it. And there isn't that much room on the Daemonette bases to match the size of rocks that I'm using on the Noise Marine bases. Now I had a very, very kind gesture from one of my subscribers, Daniel Grant. Daniel, thank you so much, you're a star for doing this. But Daniel sent me a massive tub of slate which he had for his garden, and he's cleaned them all up for me, washed them and everything. And these are fantastic because they're just about the right size for the Daemonettes. And in actual fact, if you place one of these down here, they sort of match in with the other bases quite nicely. So I am thinking that I'm going to use these little rocks on the base with again the tentacles and all the green stuff, etc. Now I did have an idea and a few suggestions that I could potentially have the Daemonettes without rocks on their bases. I could literally just have them standing in the goo stuff, or I could potentially have them standing on the tentacles, which I quite like that idea. In actual fact I might use that idea on some of the Daemonettes, but maybe not all of them. They've got quite small feet, so making them stick onto a green stuff tentacle, I'm not sure that would work, but I will have to experiment on that. But certainly these little rocks now that I've got here are going to be very, very useful, so I'm going to use them on the Daemonette bases. I think they're matching quite well. But I'd love to know what you think of my conclusion of having the smaller bases with the smaller rocks on and just keeping the army theme running through. I think they will look better to have the pieces of slate on there rather than no slate at all for the Daemonettes. But I'd love to know what you think. Okay, so that's the direction I'm going to go with the bases, I think. Right, now, the other thing I want to talk about is unit sizes. So like I said, I've got 20 here. Now, ideally, I think I would like to have 2 units of 30 in my army, or at least 60 Daemonettes, allowing me to have 2 units of 30, which I think is better for 8th edition, because when you're 20 or more models you get bonuses. So I think 2 units of 30 is the way to go, but I do have the option then to split them into 3 units of 20 if I wish. Now I've got these models here. These are obviously the current GW Daemonettes, and I was very kindly given these old school models. These are the Jess Goodwin sculpts. I think these are basically the classic Daemonettes that everyone really likes, and I can tell that they really like them because they cost a fortune on eBay. I've been trying to look to see if I can make these 7 Daemonettes that I've got up to a unit of 30, and it's going to cost an absolute fortune to do that. So I'm reluctant to put that amount of money into these models, as I need to get quite a lot of them, and ultimately the whole idea of making this Chaos Army is to use the models that I was given or that I've won on YouTube. So what I've decided to do is not to use these Jess Goodwin models as actual Daemonettes, but if I take one away, and that would give me 6 unique individual poses for those models, and I thought they would make fantastic objective markers. So I could put maybe a dice or number them somehow, maybe have those Daemonettes standing on top of something, maybe a little like mini speaker, might be pretty cool for the army, and then the speaker could have some numbers on there. I'll have to work out how I'm going to do that. I might even have to call upon the services of someone like Kiblams. Kiblams is a fantastic modeller out of styrene. He's made a Necromunda vertical gaming board out of styrene, which looks absolutely fantastic. So Kiblams, if you're watching, and I have spoken to you about making speakers for the army previously, but I now have an idea of exactly what I want. I want some mini speakers for these Daemonettes to stand on. So I'll be contacting you at some point to see if you'll be willing to do a little commission for me on that. Right, okay, so that was my idea. So I thought they'd make great objective markers, and then for the actual Daemonettes in the army, I'm going to use the current range. That gives me a good excuse to buy the Start Collecting box set, which obviously you've got the other units in that box set as well. So I think that's the direction I'm going to go with these Daemonettes. And it's fair to say that the older Jess Goodwin models there are a bit smaller than the current Daemonettes. And it's also fair to say that although there are some fantastic third-party sculpts, I don't think I'm going to use them in this army. And the reason for that is I think I want all the Daemonettes to have the same look and feel within the different units on the table. They just might look a little bit odd if I've got different units with different sculpts. I just think that using the same models for the different units of Daemonettes will just bring the army together and just make it look a little bit more uniformed rather than having different sculpts for the different units. So that is where I'm up to with the Daemonettes. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on what I've discussed in this video. I appreciate all of the feedback and comments as always. Beam me up.